We are live on Friday. That's right. We've reached another Friday on Proline TV. Not many of these left for the 2025 calendar year, which means there's not a lot of these left for the regular season football for both college and pro, especially in college. We are really counting the days before we reach the postseason, but there's still a lot of big games coming up, and we're going to wrap them up all here this week on this show, as always. What we're also going to do, we have a special format today, and that's covering the second half. So we're going to take a look in the first segment with Jim Feist and Mark Lawrence, of course, with Jim being here for the first segment only to talk NFL. We'll take a look at second half predictions, and then we'll do college football second half predictions with Mark and I, and we'll throw in a few games as well. How's it going, gentlemen?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm not too happy about the news from yesterday, but I know Mark has some thoughts, and I'll let Mark lead off with that.
Yeah, that was a really, really depressing what happened, what we heard in the news yesterday. We sort of saw it coming with Rozier being, I think, how long was it ago he was caught, Greg? And they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. As soon as they let him play, basically, it wasn't much longer after that. And then he got the cuffs handed to him. So, yeah, that's a very bad look for the NBA. Very bad look.
You know, I sort of think that I think that what's going to end up happening, just to make a cut right to the short of this whole thing, is I think if there's an answer, it's going to probably end up being where player props are going to be banned from sports books, legal sports books. They're not going to be allowed to do player props where the players can themselves dictate the outcome of the game, an individual player per se, which is sad. But one thought I had is that, you know, in the stock market trade world, insider trading is banned. And in fact, you know, you go to prison for that. But when it happens in our world, in sports gambling, and you get insider information like that, people want to hurry up and go out and bet on it. You know, nobody feels bad about it. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. There's going to be not a penalty we're going to have to pay. So I think this is going to eventually end up working its way up the ladder where it's going to end up being a part of what you can and cannot do in the world of sports wagering. And I think that's the reason they blew the roof off of this whole thing.
Well, I don't know if they'll ban all props, but
player props, right?
But player props, I mean,
right.
But it's very likely we're heading in that direction because there's really no way to police all of this. And when they legalize sports gambling, there's a good and a bad to that. I was really in favor of it, but when you think about it, you're opening up a Pandora's box for a lot of issues that they can't keep their finger on very tightly. I mean, the stock market is, watched much closer than what we have in sports betting. The problem is, a lot of the average players out there, sports bettors, fans, think that there's more game fixing than there actually is. And then when something like this happens, it kind of gives them the fuel to put on their fire, to make it, hey, yeah, I knew this years ago, and there it is. It's proof. There's the proof.
Well, someone already referenced the Indiana-Iowa safety about this whole thing. Not to say that there was anything illegal going on, but someone referenced it. Said, how do we know? Because how ridiculous was that when the Indiana quarterback ran 50 yards to take a safety, when all he had to do was just run a few yards and just take a knee or throw the ball away. And so that was already somebody pointing something like that. I know, again, he's probably wrong. It probably wasn't fixed, but that's exactly the point you're talking about, Jim.
Well, let me ask you this, Jim. Right now, for sports gambling the way it is, people want to, like me, my days when I loved horses and bet horses a lot earlier when I was younger, I wanted to bet people would complain about the trainers doping the horses and, the playing field not being level. And the first thing you want as a horse player or horse bettor was for everything to be level. You don't want to be making your handicapping your wagers on horses that are stiffed and doped and you don't know who is and who isn't. You don't want to have to do that stuff. But this is what comes with legal sports gambling here in the United States here right now. My question to you, Jim, is this has been going legal sports gambling on in Europe for years. How do they deal, or have they had to dealt with situations like this? I don't hear of any scandals per se that I'm aware of that happen in legal sports wagering over in Europe, as opposed to what we're seeing here in the U.S.
Well, I'm not up close and personal with any of that in Europe, so I really don't know. But when I know this, when you're dealing with human beings and you're dealing with money or power or both, you're going to have some kind of corruption. That's part of the human species, and it's not going to stop. We're never going to have a perfect system or a perfect world because human beings are not perfect creatures. So, I've been in this game for 6 decades, and so have you. And I kind of take it personally when something like this happens because it puts a taint on the industry that I've been in for more than 3/4 of my life, and it hurts because it hurts our industry. It hurts the integrity of what we do. I know how hard I work, and I know how hard you both work to get your opinions together each week. And to think that someone is out there manipulating and calling their friends and saying, I'm not going to play the fourth quarter, so bet all my props under. It hurt, especially, I mean, you got these guys that are making tons of money, but it doesn't matter because greed never stops and there's never enough. Then you get into the problem where, okay, now you got these college kids that are making some money from nil and money from the portal, but you also have kids that aren't getting anything. And a lot of these kids are not going to get to the next level. They're not going to get the big paycheck. And some of their family is hurting for money. And with all the layoffs and everything that are going on, you look at the economic situation and the truth of the financial situation for a lot of people, there's going to be more chance for this to happen. So that's a sad case when as society drives more of the society to the poorer level, there are going to be more things like this because people need money. So they'll say, well, guy offered me $50 not to get 20 points in this game. So $50 doesn't seem like much, but how about if that's a lot of money to that person, or how about if it's 500 or 5,000 or 50,000? So this is not a good situation, and we can't put everybody in jail, and you can't stop people from speculating because that's in our nature, that's in our DNA. I don't know what the answer is, but it's a very sad situation. I'm sorry that it happened, and
it had to happen because of the fact that we knew it was happening, and it at some point somebody has to take the first big fall, because I think we know that Chauncey Billups, it doesn't stop there. And I'm not talking about beneath Chauncey Billups. I'm sure there's more famous players than Chauncey Billups.
Is Billups in the Hall of Fame, Greg?
No, I don't think so. Then again, the NBA, they give the Hall of Fame out like when you're still
Candy
playing.
Play.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Here's somebody comment we just got from DBK8461. That $5,000 DraftKings bet on Jared Goff at 90-1 to score the first touchdown a couple of weeks ago looks a lot more suspicious now. Boy, yeah, you're right. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I mean, this is not a good thing.
Well, all right, but that's, see, I think this is where we at some point we do have to draw the line with and the reasonable line of, just like you were saying before, Jim, we can't all suspect, because people are going to suspect that everything is illegal now, that Jared Goff is going to be involved. I mean, look, if Jared Goff is going to be involved, then everybody's involved, basically. So I'm not going to believe that. It's not, I have to see it to believe it. because that's getting a little bit when you're dealing with a player that's making what is he making? 60, 70, 80 million dollars.
Greg, it doesn't make any sense financially for somebody to do that at that level. However, this is what it really, when the myth becomes reality, it becomes reality.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be true to be true. And, if you can't disprove it, then that means you can't prove it. So then people just accept what they want to accept.
Sure.
And they're going to say, yeah, there's the proof right there. And even though it's never provable, maybe it isn't provable.
But in their mind, it is, yes.
Yeah, that's,
Here's the answer to your question in Europe, Mark. Italian illegal betting probe, ongoing, and this was between 2023 and 2025, ongoing Italian investigation implicated dozens of players. Of course, we're talking soccer,
right,
including several from Serie A and the national team for betting on football matches through illegal platforms. So, yes, it is even going on right now in Europe.
Very intelligent follow-up from the person that sent this. What I'm saying is that some intel came out of the Lion organization that they were going to run that play. Now, that doesn't mean Goff is involved. That means inside information knew the playbook.
Once again.
That's a great point, Jim. Goff didn't necessarily have to be involved and likely was not involved, but it comes out of the organization.
Whoever is writing this, we don't know this person. Thank you very much for feeding us this. Now, we're accepting it as being truthful. We don't know you and we don't know anything, but we really appreciate the feedback and thank you for that.
Yeah, again, not as bad as thinking Jared Goff did it, but still almost as bad.
The problem is it damages the integrity of what we do every day.
Yeah.
And how many hours, my God, how many hours a week, Mark, at 80 years old, do you spend putting out your newsletters and handicapping sports? And Greg,
I'll let you know in 5 years when I turn 80, Jim. Okay.
What?
I'll let you know in 5 years when I turn 80 in 5 years. I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. I aged.
Sorry about that.
Sorry,
okay.
But Greg is a lot younger than both of us, and he spends 20 hours a day doing this. So it damages the integrity of what we are trying to do legitimately, and everybody else that we know that's trying to do this legitimately. And now there's bad guys out there that are always going to take advantage of situations. We know that, but it's just to be on every news station all over the world about our industry is really very upsetting.
Well, we'll see the carryover. That's the NBA, and we'll find out whether or not we get anything hit in the NFL or any of the other major sports leagues. I think this is the beginning. We all know that. How far this goes, what kind of other big name athletes or personalities are going to be hit down the road. We can only guess. I don't want to. None of us do. Some
days you wake up, you look at the news and you say, okay, we got this war over here and you got that war over there and you got this problem over here and you got the government shut down and you got now gambling on sports. And you start to say, is there anything going right in the world?
Where's the positiveness here?
Yeah. Give me some positive news. Well, you woke up this morning, you're still able to talk and walk and eat and you're enjoying another day of life. And that's all positive. And of course, we all have our own individual problems. And I want to reach out to Mark and Victor and all the other people. They had a loss yesterday of one of their employees, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Well, thank you.
I know that's tough.
Yes. Yeah, it's very tough, especially people that are close to you. They're like family, much like pets and dogs are family. When they pass, it's just like losing a family member.
That's the worst.
Absolutely. And when it happens out of the blue and you're not, it wasn't like you saw a sickness coming or something like that. It's even a little bit more startling, per se, to say the least. But thanks for your thoughts. I'll pass that on.
All right, let's get into some football on the positive side of things, what we do here. And we're going to take a look because we're almost at the midway point. So this is as good as time as any. to take a look at how things are shaping up. Each division, Super Bowl odds, things of that nature. So I'm going to pop those up right now. We'll go division by division, get everybody's take here. And we'll start, of course, with the NFC East, which are the defending Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, at minus 250 to win the division. Any of you guys think that anybody will be able to compete with the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they've been struggling? They haven't outgained anybody all season long. But is this the Eagles division? No doubt about it.
No, that's not true, because any one injury can change this whole picture. You get hurt. Then you mean Dallas with their offense? The Commanders, of course, have their own issues. They got injuries as well. But Dallas is not. If they win this game at Denver today, I mean, this is the real deal. People can't stop them, and yeah, they have their defense is garbage, but you got to look at Dallas and you got to say, hey, that's a real deal. One injury to Philadelphia in the wrong spot could ruin their whole season.
Yeah, it's sort of like you look at where they are here today and you wonder where they're going to be at the end of the football season, and there has to be improvement from the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just a matter of returning to the norm, because nobody has played worse than they have on the field, out-yarded in every football game they played. They're not going to continue to keep doing that. They're going to have to improve and get better. So if they get better, which they likely are logically supposed to do, who of the other three teams are going to get better as well along with them? That's the question here. Jim brings out a great point about the Dallas Cowboys. This offense is arguably the best in the league. If their defense gets better, then they could be that logical contender. If the Washington Commanders can stay healthy and bring a full deck of cards to the playing field, they could be a contender here as well. I think the New York Giants are still far removed from contention here. So my answer to that would be either the Cowboys or the Commanders, I think, could give Philadelphia a run by the end of the season.
So would you if someone said, I'd like to place a bet on a division, would you recommend the NFC East, or say not pass? As much as I believe the Philadelphia, this division's not over, it's just it's not worth it. Investing your money. There's better money to invest in other divisions. This is just the first of 8 we're going to go over, but there's better options. Would you agree with that?
I would, I don't know what size better, but I would easily say put $50 or $100 on Dallas.
Dallas? Okay, that would be the team.
Yeah, because right now they're the only team that's healthy.
Right.
Washington doesn't even have their quarterback at the moment, and they don't have their wide receivers. So I don't know when that's going to change, and they really haven't been playing that good anyway. Dallas has been playing the best offense in the league, so at least they have that going for them.
Okay,
and, that's the obvious choice. You got a price, the small number, pizza money, kind of use that term, pizza money, to put at 550 to 1. Yeah, hell yes.
Okay, and it's still the trade deadline. So if they want to add on the defensive side, I'm sure they could make a move. So that's the NFC East. Let's check out the AFC West next. And the Chiefs are the favorite, of course. Denver, almost 3-1, just like the Chargers, who had the win last night, and forget the Raiders. So what do you guys think about the AFC West, which Denver, by the way, leads by a half game over the Chargers and a full game as of today over the Chiefs?
A full game over the Chiefs, who are right now the Super Bowl favorite to win the Super Bowl, which tells us that the Chiefs are likely to be on the rise, or expected to be at least. So can Denver continue their play as they have here? They can, but will it be enough? I think that's the question here. The team I would be a little bit concerned about here in this division is the Chargers. Herbert is a very, very good young quarterback, and he's getting better with every game. And Jim Harbaugh, on the sidelines, has been there and done just that. While everybody might want to migrate to Kansas City to be the winner of the West, which they'd be the favorite to do so, I cast a long look at the Chargers right now at this stage and point of the season here. What sort of odds am I getting here with the Chargers right now, Greg?
Almost 3-1.
Almost 3-1. Okay.
See, the problem I have here with this one, where as opposed to Philadelphia, as Mark pointed out, not playing well this year, being outstatted in every game, Kansas City right now, a lot of people, pros, would tell you this is the best team in football right now. Now, that's arguable, but the way they have played the last few weeks, with Rice coming back and Worthy coming back, obviously I get
they're the most, and of course, they're also happens to be the most healthiest team in the NFL.
Yes.
Right now.
So your Denver and the Chargers have to dethrone the team that's been to 5 out of 6 Super Bowls, that's playing better than anybody else in the league.
And that's healthier.
And you're only giving me 2.5 to 1, as opposed to giving me 5.5 to 1 to beat Philadelphia, who's not playing that well.
Okay.
Yes.
So based on value, I'd say the other bet's better.
Okay.
I'd say the other bet's better as well. I agree.
All right. Let's move on. So far, the Dallas Cowboys, but we still have 6 more divisions to go. And we have the NFC North. We have a tie between the Packers and the Lions at even money. The Bears are 15 to 1. And wow, look at the Vikings at 45 to 1. They would have to make a, by the way, I think and we kind of talked about this a few days ago, that now for sure after last night's game, there ain't no quarterback controversy in Minnesota. As soon as J.J. McCarthy's ready to come back, he's playing the rest of the season because he can't play any worse than what we've seen from Carson Wentz the last couple of weeks. So do you guys think that this is a wise way to go because the Packers and the Lions are like almost equally as good, and one team's even, the other team's even? Any of you think that the Bears are a viable long shot?
I'll paraphrase what you just said. There ain't no quarterback in Minnesota.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, there is nobody there. They made a bonehead decision, putting all their eggs in one basket with McCarthy.
An untested quarterback, right?
Yeah, this guy's not ready. And to say, and I understand, because he looked awful. Wentz was an upgrade. And when you look at the way Wentz is playing, to say he's an upgrade over anything is just
a red flag.
Oh my God, he's horrible.
Yes.
Horrible. He's an embarrassment. I hope to God we never see him play football again anywhere. It's an embarrassment. And McCarthy, I don't know if he could have grown in the time he's had off, but he's a kind of, I'm sure he has enough talent to make it, but he needs a lot of prep work, in my opinion. He looked like a deer in headlights, except for one quarter, a magical quarter against the Bears. No.
Well, he's going to get that opportunity. As I said, he'll be the starter the rest of the year. So we'll find out just how good he is. But it looks like the Vikings are in big trouble. So do you guys believe that the Bears are a viable long shot play at 15 to 1, considering they have 4 wins already?
I think they may be at their plateau personally right now. You know, they've come out of a slow start, a hibernation, if you will, to win 4 games in a row. So now all of a sudden they're at a peak price. You're buying them at the wrong time right now. You'd been better off to buy them 3 weeks ago when they won that first game and looking forward and got a whole lot more for your return. The question is, will they continue to keep playing this way? I don't think so. Not in this division. I don't think so. I think it'll ultimately end up catching up with them. I think the team to beat in this division is the Detroit Lions. And I don't know if are they favored or co-favored with Green Bay right now? Did you say
co-favored, even money?
Co-favored. Well,
what are the records? Green Bay is a lead, right?
Yeah, they're in the lead because they have the tie.
Yeah, 4-1 and Detroit's 3-2, right? 4-1-1 and Detroit's 3-2. Right?
5-2, yeah.
5-2, yeah.
And they've got the tiebreaker, but of course you would expect Detroit when they play Green Bay would beat them at home. But
that would be a must if they want to win the division.
So it's even money. Do you confident in Detroit at even money right now to take them?
Well, the biggest problem I have with Detroit is their injuries on defense again. Because they're kind of repeat different part of their defense, but they are hurt on the back end of their defense, where Green Bay seems to be much healthier at the moment. Detroit's off this week. Green Bay's playing at Pittsburgh. If Pittsburgh beats them, that'll make a difference. It would you would expect Green Bay to lose this game in that situation, but they are favored.
Yeah, so some advice right there would be, if you really are thinking about it, you better do Detroit now before the game on Sunday. If you think Green Bay is going to lose,
that's true.
You'll lose some value.
But you're not getting big bang, big dollar return for, with these two teams where they're priced. So I think there's other better value to be found in other divisions.
I just wouldn't want, the only thing I wouldn't want is because I don't know how much it would go, but I wouldn't want to wake up on Monday and see Detroit at minus 150. I don't think that would happen with one Green Bay loss at even, but I just wouldn't want to take the chance.
And not unless there's an injury, I don't think that would happen. No.
Okay, so that is no recommendation in the North then.
I would definitely, based on what I feel about these two teams, I think Detroit's going to be the winner.
I do too.
But you wouldn't wait.
Is there value there, Jim? I mean,
there's really no value because they're actually behind the 8 ball right now, and the team that they're behind the 8 ball to is favored to win this next game, so that would even put them further behind. So if the odds makers are right and Green Bay's going to win this game, Detroit needs to be a bigger price. Already they're behind the 8 ball with them. So it's not a value bet. It might be just an emotional bet that you think they're better, but it's not a value bet.
The NFC West is our next stop, and the Rams have the slight edge on San Francisco, plus 135 to plus 160. Seattle looks like a nice bargain here at plus 270 is the third choice. And you can forget about the Cardinals if you want to forget about the Cardinals, but they are 200 to 1, which seems awfully high, but it is what it is. So what do you guys think about the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks, 3 teams who could end up making the playoffs?
Well, they're all tied with one another right now. So of the 3, the one that's the longer odds, Seattle would end up being the best value, arguably, before you start tearing them down. Whether or not you think they're worthy enough to win this division, I would say so. If you look at their net for the year for scoring and what they've allowed, they're best in fact, the Rams hold a 1-point edge over them. I got to take that back. But the one thing Seattle has done is played really good football on the road where they haven't lost. And surprisingly, they've been a little bit disappointing at home where they're break even. Will that continue? I don't think so. But it also means probably likely that they're going to improve their play at home by the end of the football season. So from a value standpoint, I would say Seattle would be the best buy. San Francisco, their injury situation, you never know what you're going to get from them. It seems like this team is injured every year, every week, every year. And the Rams are very, very, right now, probably, maybe, arguably, the best team of the 3 right now. So what's the price for the Rams as opposed to the Seahawks, did you say, Greg?
You're getting plus 25 additional. It's 135 to 160.
And what is Frisco?
160. So it's 135 Rams, 160 for San Francisco.
And Seattle's 3 something, you said?
270.
270. All right. I got to make the value to Seattle. I mean, not that I'm in love with the football team, just the fact that they've shown they can play, and you're getting a better price than the 49ers and the Rams, just if for no other reason for the price.
Well, let's look at the division record. See, if what I was looking at that chart, San Francisco's 3-0 in the division. Seattle's 1-1, and the Rams are 0-1. That makes Seattle a huge favorite. San Francisco, a huge favorite.
Right.
They're
also 5-1 in the conference, and the Rams are 0-2 in the conference. Those are tiebreakers.
San Francisco should be a much bigger favorite in this game. I mean, 3-0 already. I mean, they only play 6 games in division, and they've already won 3.
Well, keep in mind there is one more matchup with the Rams going to San Francisco. So right now they're tied. Who do you think would be favorite in that matchup? Right now, who do you think would be favorite?
It should be pretty even.
Yeah, pretty.
There's really no home field advantage anymore in the NFL. But A little favor, maybe 1.5.
Because in order for San Francisco to take advantage of all of these, numbers here, a division conference, they have to be tied. So
it's going to be very difficult for anybody, unless Seattle or San Francisco falls apart, to overcome a 3-0. I mean, they have a 3-0 record in division and 5-1 in conference. They're a big favorite to win this division at this moment.
They're also the team with the biggest injury issues, though.
That's true, but they keep winning.
So far, yes. So that's why it's a big game for them on Sunday with Houston. That's for sure.
I think they should be the favorite because of that record. I mean, this isn't like we're not putting this line up here in August. This is already November almost.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, let's take all of the records apart right now today, without looking at the schedules. Who do you think? Because it's even. It's 0-0 right now, basically. Who do you think? Who would you take to win the division?
It's based on this record.
No records. Based on no records.
I'd take the Rams.
Okay, Mark.
Well, Jim brought out a great point about San Francisco's great body of work within the division. Also, taking a look at the home road dichotomies, Seattle is really, really a good football team on the road. It's kind of hard to pass up San Francisco if it's even, if the prices are all even, but it's not. It's Rams and Frisco on top and Seattle running lengths behind. So who would I take right now at this point? I'm with Jim. I like the Rams. I think this is a football team that has got the makings to become a playoff Super Bowl contender.
Do you like any of those as wagers? Do you like Seattle as a wager?
No, because I don't like wagering at this stage and point of the season because of too many unknowns, uncertainties, largely injuries. You don't know what's going to happen with injury situations. You get a quarterback goes down, whatever price you had, you can rip the ticket right apart. And you can't get out of it. So, I will not do that at this stage of the season. No, I will not.
Okay. But right now, both of you do like the Rams.
I do like the Rams, yeah.
No, wait a minute. Let's back off here. You said, who would you take if this was the beginning of the season? At this
No. If right now it is basically everybody's 0-0.
If it was week 1, right.
So everybody is even now.
So at that point, but at this point, there's only one bet to make, and that has to be the 49ers.
Okay, so
they're already going to win the division.
So
if they win the division, they're going to get in the playoffs.
All right. So you think that by the end of the season, when the regular season is over, as of today, you believe the Niners will end up winning the division?
They have a 3-0 lead over these teams.
No, but they're even. All the Rams have to do is go one game ahead of them, and it's over. The tiebreakers mean nothing. All they have to do is beat them in their next matchup, and they're ahead. Yeah, the tiebreaker only helps San Francisco if it's a tie.
Well, the division record matters.
Sure. At this point, it has mattered that they have proven that they're the best team in the division as of today by beating both Seattle and the Rams.
You're 7-9 in division. You can still win the division, but I understand if the Rams are 8-9, they have the better record, so they're the better team. But I mean, that division record just throws me off. In conference 5-1, division 3-0. I can't ignore it.
Okay. Yeah. I have no problem with that.
I just think if you're looking at pricing, the Niners should be a bigger favorite.
Okay. So therefore you
got to remember something. Last week, Puka didn't play for the Rams.
Sure.
Okay. That's a big injury.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, they have injuries. Seattle's the healthiest team, but they're way behind.
So Jim's going with the Niners and Mark's going with the Rams.
That Niners division record's the best in football. I mean, you've got in division records anyway. You can't argue too much. There's a couple of 2-0s out there also, New England in their division, and who else is 2-0? Maybe it's only New England. So everybody else is 1-0 or worse. So right now, San Francisco does hold a huge division edge.
And they do have, don't forget, the beginning of the season when we went over all our predictions, the Niners had one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. So that should help them out as well. They got the division mark right now, and their schedule should be easier the rest of the way.
Here, let me say this about that, Greg. And people talk strength of schedule, and the way that we do it in the playbook is we base strength of schedule based largely on not so much what the team's opponents' records were last year, but based more on what their season over under wins total is this year. That's the strength of schedule. And so you have to ditch everything from this point moving forward as far as strengths of schedule are concerned and weigh it against the strength of the schedule of how they're playing this year. So what's ahead of these teams at this stage of the football season? Does San Francisco have teams that are loaded up with sub 500 records moving forward? They have a real weak strength of schedule. Do they have every opponent that's got a winning record? Then they have a difficult strength of schedule. So you have to weigh the strength of schedule from this point forward based upon the records of the teams that they've accrued so far this year.
Yeah, looking at their schedules, it still does look like San Francisco's got a break because they're going to be playing the Giants, Cleveland, and Tennessee. So they still have those teams on their schedule. Those are their easy games.
Yeah, but this week they have to play Houston, and for some reason, and maybe Mark, you guys can explain this to me, Houston's taking money. They're up to 2.5, and from a 1.5. I mean, Houston has played terrible. They beat Tennessee and they beat Baltimore without Baltimore having no players. And what else have they done? I mean, they just got pretty much whipped by Seattle. I mean, even though they were +4 in turnovers, they still got beat.
I don't know what the love affair is with Houston here this year. They're disappointing again this year like they were last year. And you don't bet on if comes, especially with propositions like this. I don't know, Jim. I'm perplexed like you with the line in this game.
Yeah, it's baffling. It really is.
AFC East and the Bills are at -160. The Patriots are almost even at +130. So that's your matchup. What do you guys think about? It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of value here. So unless, of course, you really still feel 100% confident that the Bills are going to win this thing because they were heavy favorites when the season began. So you could look at it that way.
I'm not confident of that. I at +130 and basically an even matchup with already the tiebreaker in hand, I would take 130 on the Patriots in a second.
With the tiebreaker in hand, yes.
Yeah.
They haven't lost.
First of all, they have a better record.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, and number two, they've already beaten Buffalo.
Well, they would at this point, if the Bills win this week's game and go to 5-2, they'll be tied with the Patriots holding the edge because they beat them, keeping in mind that they have to play again, meaning the Patriots would have to sweep Buffalo to own the edge. That's what you'd have to consider. Do you think they'll sweep them? Because if they don't sweep them, then the Bills take the lead in the division.
Where's the next game at?
New England. So that's how you got to put your thinking cap on there on that regard.
I mean, I think you got a better coach with New England, and I think your offensive coordinator is better with New England. And Drake May is playing of all the second-year quarterbacks out there, even third-year quarterbacks out there. Drake May is playing better than anybody.
Yes, he sure is.
So I think the actual favorite should be New England. They got the odds got it wrong. They got it wrong.
Do you think, though, that the odds are like that because the Bills were such a heavy favorite that there's only so much the odds can keep going down and down and down with all the money that was initially on the Bills?
I think the odds makers are late to the game. I think they need to look at what's going on currently.
How does that? So like, because my thinking, because I don't know, I've never done this before. I'm thinking that when you put the odds together, you're basing that on how much money comes in on one team versus how much money is coming in on the other team. So if the Bills are up here when the season began and all of a sudden people are putting money on the Patriots, is it still the reason why the Bills are favored because it's only week 7 and they had such a big gap and there's only so much money that the Patriots can have right now before they start to even up with the Bills?
Well, there's a lot of love for the Buffalo Bills. Started with the football season, and it'll continue all season long. Even though they're playing poorly right now, they're still going to continue to be that love affair with the Buffalo Bills. Everybody's seen them in the playoffs, battling, getting close to the Super Bowl, but no cigar. So Buffalo is the team that jumps out right now from the division. New England certainly doesn't. So hence, that's the reason you're seeing Buffalo priced a little bit more now where they are, as opposed to perhaps, like Jim says, where they should be.
Hey, the Bills fans might feel that if things don't go very well the rest of the season for Buffalo, the Patriots win the division, the Bills go out in the playoffs, they might look at this as a blessing and say, all right, well, that's it. Now you got your reason to fire McDermott.
They're wasting Josh Allen's talents. Unbelievable. This head coach is not a championship head coach. He's not.
Yeah, at this point, if he's unable to get this team into the Super Bowl this year, he should be fired.
Josh Allen's better than the head coach.
AFC North and the Steelers still have the lead. The Ravens are still only within striking distance. They're in second place at plus 145. And the Bengals, after that big win over Pittsburgh last week, taking on the winless Jets on Sunday, are plus 450. And taking a look at the division standings, the Bengals are in second. They have a 1.5 game lead on Baltimore. And Pittsburgh has a 2.5 game lead on Baltimore. So what do you guys think about the AFC North?
Oh, boy. Go ahead, Mark.
I think it's the worst division in the National Football League this year. If you're talking Pittsburgh is the division leader, and look at their rotten stats, they've only outgained one team this year. That's not saying much, and they lead the division by default because Cincinnati is playing shorthanded without Joe Burrow, and I don't think Joe Flacco is going to take this team anywhere. Maybe he's an upgrade over what they had over Nate Browning, but I don't think he's going to take them anywhere. And I think anybody that gets on this Baltimore freight train is riding a train to nowhere. Nothing's going to happen with Lamar Jackson returning unless the defense plays.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen an inkling of a sign of the defense playing here. Only Cincinnati's defense is worse. And just because Lamar Jackson's back, where are they going to go? Are they going to go from 1-5 in the division to winning the division and overcoming 3 full games? That's going to be a tough task to do.
I actually think that you just talked yourself into liking the team you didn't like.
Pittsburgh?
No, Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincinnati. Okay. I hear you.
Here's what you got. Cincinnati Joe Flacco is absolutely brilliant at throwing the football.
Yes, he is.
He's absolutely brilliant at reading defenses. He has never had a Chase and a Higgins to throw the ball to. He has said many times since he's gotten in Cincinnati, oh my God, I can't believe how good these guys are. He will rip apart anybody that can't play defense to a very high level. He is so capable of beating all of these 3 teams. Now, I'm not saying he's capable of beating the best teams in football, but beating this group, if Pittsburgh falls apart, if they win this game against Green Bay, it makes it a little bit more difficult, of course. But Cincinnati is very capable of staying ahead of Cleveland and Baltimore. And if Pittsburgh slips up, look out. Cincinnati could slip in there. That would be my bet.
My concern for Cincinnati, Jim, is their defense. It's atrocious.
And what defense in this conference do you like?
Well, it has to be the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL.
Yeah, but they have no offense.
Yeah, Cleveland Browns.
So what you have is 3 bad defenses.
Yes.
And if you look at the offenses of those 3 bad defenses, the only one that's any good is Cincinnati.
Yes, it is.
So, and by the way, the Bengals are 2-0 in the division.
That's amazing.
And
3-1 in conference.
Yeah. So the other thing too is keep in mind that Joe Burrow is coming back. So Joe Flacco has to
hold the fort.
Yes, until about early December.
Well, and I don't know what kind of shape Burrow will be in if he does come back, but he could be the best quarterback in football.
Yeah. So
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I gotta bet Cincinnati, and with all those things to talk about, you got 3 bad defenses, only 1 good offense. and Cleveland's not going to win it. We know that. So basically, it's a 3-team league. I Cincinnati and possibly get Burrow back. Oh my God, it's a given.
So of the 3 teams that would be logical contenders, that all have lousy defenses, the one that makes the most sense would be the one that has the best offense and is getting their quarterback back, and that makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
Yes.
And they got a lead over Baltimore. It's not so. At least they do have a cushion, a game and a half, for what it is. Matter of fact, let's see. They are going to play twice. So Cincinnati's schedule, they still have to play Baltimore twice and Pittsburgh, of course, at Pittsburgh. I think part of the reason why people might still think Baltimore, maybe their odds are the way they are, is their schedule. So after these are their next upcoming games: Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, the Jets, then the Bengals, the Steelers, the Bengals. So before the Bengals matchup, they get Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland, and the Jets.
They should win all those games.
So they do have, that's why Baltimore's got a little bit of an edge with the schedule. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Now at the end of the season, Baltimore does have to end their season with those 3 division games, and then New England and Green Bay. Whereas Cincinnati and Pittsburgh will be playing some tough teams in the next 6 weeks.
It's very interesting looking forward and all that. I mean, this is like 3 or 4 dimensional chess. It's looking at it this way. The price right now, $450 on the Bengals is the right bet.
Yeah.
But when you start looking at the future games, you can talk yourself out of that. But right now, I'd have to take the $450 because you have no idea what's going to happen injury-wise to any of these teams, and that's a roll of the dice.
Yes, it is.
AFC South,
But
the
it's
Colts. And the Colts are looking like, according to these odds, that it's their division. They are a minus 330 to win the division, and they have right now a 2-game lead on Jacksonville.
Well, it appears to be only a 2-team race because really you didn't discuss the odds of
No, I didn't.
anybody else.
No, I didn't. Houston's 12-1, just so you know, which is a nice number. But taking a look at the standings, of course, they are 3.5 games behind the Colts. So that's what you have to take into account. The only good news is Houston plays the Colts twice. So if they were to sweep the Colts, okay, and let's say let's say that. Let's say they sweep the Colts. That puts them at 4-4, and that puts the Colts at 6-3, meaning that they'd be still a game and a half behind the Colts.
It's funny. You got a 12-1 odds on Houston, and they're favored over San Francisco.
Sounds like you're going to be taking the Niners on Sunday, Jim.
I've already done it. I bought it to 3 off the 2.5.
Schedule overall is just average for Houston, by the way, if you're thinking about them. It's not going to be easy. They got Denver and Jacksonville next. So, and speaking of Jacksonville, because they're only 2 games back, keep in mind that Jacksonville plays Indianapolis twice. So Jacksonville can sweep Indianapolis and be tied with the Colts.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, not the way that those 2 teams are playing right now. No.
Lawrence came out of Clemson. He was like the godsend to the league. He has never developed. Now, maybe that is because he got some bad coaching initially, and he never recovered from it. I don't know the reasons, but he is just not good. He's okay, but he's not good.
Yeah, he needs a surrounding cast, and it's amazing what happened after the Kansas City game. And it kind of shows you sort of like the Denver situation. Like Denver beats Philly, wins their next 2, but does it very ugly in beating the Jets and the Giants. But hey, they won them both. The Jags, on the other hand, they beat the Chiefs. It looked like it was amazing. They were down 2 touchdowns to the Chiefs after Lawrence fumbled the ball at the goal line. That would melt teams like the Jags. They come back, win the game. It's a major win for them, and then they look like crap the next 2 weeks.
Trevor Lawrence is never going to get a team to a Super Bowl. And like Jim said, he was probably the most highly hyped quarterback coming out of college football because he had the physical stature. He played at Clemson and everything looked good. But how long has it been now since he's been a quarterback in this league?
I think it's 6 years.
Long enough.
And where have they, what have they done? They've done absolutely nothing.
They had one playoff run. That was it.
No, I mean, teams that need quarterbacks might be interested in him, but it's only because they have a need situation. They're not going to go out and if his contract expired this year and he was going out as a free agent, I think it'd be a gross mistake by anybody to pay him big bucks to bring him in to be the man at that new program here. So I'm not a big Jacksonville fan because of that lack of production from them. The interesting note of these teams in this side of this division, what stands out to me is, bar none, the Houston Texans have the best defense of all these teams. And if they win this game on Sunday, they're back in the hunt with the best defense. And this is the football team I think could bring you the best value, personally.
Does that mean
not that I like them, but
okay,
comes there.
So in other words, you're saying that if someone asked you, hey, what would you do if I wanted to put money on the AFC South? You would say, well, then put it on Houston.
What sort of a price are you giving me?
12-1.
I would say put it on Houston.
Okay.
Because as you guys know, I'm not a big Colts fan, and I think their Waterloo is coming sooner than later. And I could be wrong. You could put at the end of the football season, bury me, put an RIP sign over me, and say he didn't like the Colts.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what's wrong. Why I don't like the Colts? They have the best running back in football. They have an offensive line that's very good, and Danny Dimes is playing out of his mind. Steichen looks like a pretty good head coach. I mean, they're not going to lose this week against Tennessee, so their record is going to be outstanding. And these other two teams are waffling. Houston has a problem. Their offensive line is shaky. They've lost their best wide receiver.
Yep. I don't know if he's been ruled out yet, but I can't imagine he's going to play. Stroud,
here's what happens, though. It's like constantly having a gun go off next to your ear, and every time you hear the click of the gun before it goes off, you jump and you shake and
you're flinching. Yeah,
he's anticipating pressure when there is no pressure, and then most of the time there is pressure. So he is not the guy he was 2 years ago.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that
close.
Yeah, they're going to have to move on.
However, I do agree with you, Mark. Their defense is very good, very good.
Yes, very good.
Well, we can say the same thing about Cleveland, and Cleveland's even better on defense. So you have two great defenses.
But there's an array of offense there for Houston, not like Cleveland's. I mean, better than Cleveland's, but not anything, that you're going to write home about and be liking them because of their offensive juggernaut. I'm living with my conviction, and I'm going to probably, like I say, be buried with it. But I do things statistically a lot, and when I chart my teams and I chart their body of work each week, and I chart their defense and I see where that ranked against other teams, and I put an X if there was the worst performance. The Colts are just loaded with X's defensively. They're just giving up season high yard after season high yard, after season high yard 5 times. And this football team still is amongst the best in football because they're winning games, and Danny Dimes has revived this team. And you bring out great points. Good quarterback play, really good running back, and the coach is okay. But I have this in my gut because I load this team up with X's. I just can't get behind them. That's
okay. All. Let's dig into this. I'm asking the question because I haven't looked.
Sure.
They're the teams that they have played, strength wise. How does that shape up?
Well, here's going to be my answer to that. And my answer to that is this. You say, okay, well, season high yards, but who did they play? They played Sisters of the Poor. It doesn't matter. It was still a season high yardage mark. Nobody else performed as poorly as they did against those teams. Nobody else did.
Okay, so they have a bad defense.
Yes, they do.
Well, one of the reasons they do is they have a quarterback, a cornerback that's out right now. He's their number one corner.
Didn't they have the Rams beat until that kid just decided to drop the ball on the 1 yard line?
Yep. Well, yeah, you could say that. Well, I mean, they were winning.
The Rams were a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. Yeah, they beat the Chargers. They lost to the Rams, and then they beat Denver on that lucky play they had. So, yeah, they've beaten the good teams.
They probably should not have beaten Denver, but they should have beaten the Rams.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. That's a wash.
But the thing is, they were competitive with both of them.
Yes.
So even so, apparently their offense, like Dallas, their offense is able to overcome their defensive deficiencies.
The rest of their schedule, after Tennessee, they do not have a easy game the rest of the season. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Kansas City, Seattle, San Francisco, and their division opponents, Houston and Jacksonville. So no more cupcake games for the Colts the rest of the way. So they're going to have to be on their best. You know, they have a 2 or 3 game losing spell, and
where's the Atlanta game?
The Atlanta game, I believe, is at home. Let me see.
Atlanta's been
no, that's the one that's in Germany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They go to Pittsburgh next week, and then they're in Germany. And then they come out of the break against the Chiefs on the road.
Well, they're not going to win that one.
All right. So let's move on to the south of the NFC, and the Bucs are a heavy favorite, just like the Colts. They are at minus 320. And taking a look, of course, at the division here, the interesting thing is they're only up 1 game over Carolina and a game and a half over Atlanta, and yet they are a heavy favorite at minus 320. The Falcons are 450 to 1, and the Panthers are 9 to 1.
Well, with their injuries, that's been the thing that's holding them back. They haven't played 1 game this year healthy. They've been hurt every game. They might lose this week.
Yes, they might. They're not playing. They've been out-yarded the last 3 games, so those injuries are beginning to creep into their stats. Okay, if I looked at anybody else in this, I would buy the Atlanta Falcons. I'm really enamored with this football team this year. Their defense is terrific. They got enough of an offense that can keep them in any football game they played. They played a little bit of a clunker last week. A little bit surprising that it was their first really poor performance of the season here, but this is the football team I think that can be sneaky as the Atlanta Falcons. Defensively, they're real strong. In fact, if it's not Cleveland, it's Atlanta that's the number 1 defense in the league right now as we're speaking. But he's the guy I would look at. And I think Tampa Bay, unless they get healthy, I see these 3 games they got outstated in a row. That's, to me, it's like leaking oil or slipping a cotter pin. That's a sign that something's not right there right now. I know they're going to have a bye week after this, and I think they're gasping to get to the bye week.
I agree with that. Yes. I mean, quarterback wise, there's no rivalry to Baker. Mayfield is definitely the better quarterback in this division.
No question. No question.
Penix is questionable as to whether he can perform at a high level. Atlanta doesn't play super well on the road. That hurts.
Yes.
Carolina, their running game has been amazing. Now this week they're going to go with Andy Dalton, which might be okay because some of these backup quarterbacks that are older guys that know how to play, they can get away with that for a game. But Tampa's, if they can't overcome their injuries, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, they're just constantly hurt.
Maybe this team might be the worst division in the National Football League, only because every team has been allowed more points than they've scored this year. Every team in the division.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Atlanta, do you put them on the board as a value play, a play that you would consider?
At what price are you going to give me?
4-1, 450.
I'll take the 450.
Okay.
I don't see Atlanta that dependable. They have the funny thing is Atlanta has a good running game too, and they have a good defense. But in some ways, so does Carolina, and their running game has been unbelievable. What's that kid's name? The one that gets
that kid that came from Dallas.
Yeah, the Dallas didn't need anybody. They got rid of him.
A kid that's going to rush for 1,200 yards.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But what Atlanta does, Jim, you mentioned their running game, and it is good. They rank in the top 5 in rushing attempts per game, and that's a stat that wins out every year. And that's where Atlanta, that's the neighborhood they live in this year. Carolina is right. I think they're like 6th or 7th in that. They're getting there right now too. So, there's some good things to be said about some teams in this division here that maybe their record says they're not as good as they are, but they could be better closing out in the second half of the season.
Yeah, you might see some ascending teams here with those two.
Yes, exactly.
With that running game. Definitely a running game is very, very important.
And a defense with that to go with it doesn't hurt, right?
All right, and we'll wrap up. First of all, I got to ask you, because it looks like there are 3 teams that you both have zeroed in on as your top teams value-wise. That would be Dallas at 5-1, Cincinnati at 4-1, and Atlanta at 4-1. What's your favorite? I don't know. Again, I think, and again, you guys have mixed within those picks. So just what's your favorite out of the 3, Jim?
Cincinnati.
Mark?
Yeah, I like Jim Cincinnati. I'm not going to go there with him, but I like his thinking because he's not beating a whole lot there. But mine's going to be the Atlanta Falcons if they continue this rush brigade per se.
Okay.
Because if Tampa has got to get healthy, and Tampa won the division 4 years in a row, something to that effect.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So maybe all good things come to an end eventually. But I'm going to say Atlanta for the value.
And then wrapping it up with the Super Bowl, and guys, at this point, we've kind of touched up on that with each division, but just get your formal predictions right now on October 24th. Who do you think is going to be playing in the Super Bowl? And then also give us your top value play as far as the championship Super Bowl odds, which are right here. Taking a look at the best value odds. I guess I got to move down here. Rams 10, Eagles 11, Colts 11, San Francisco 20, Broncos 20, Bucks 22, Chargers 22. I'm not sure I need to go further down. So
you're asking who's going to the Super Bowl?
Both questions. Who do you like to go to the Super Bowl, and what's your top value Super Bowl future play as of right now? And here are the odds.
What's the Kansas City odds?
Oh, well, they're the favorite. They're 5-1.
Yeah, they went to the favorite because of their play of late here.
Right. In my opinion, they're the best AFC team. I have to take Kansas City.
To get to the Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl.
To get to the Super Bowl.
Against who?
Let me see the odds on what are the boy, that's tough. The NFC is so much harder to pick because there's so much more balance in that league. It's really tough. I'm gonna say it's either the Rams or the Lions, and I can't decide.
Well, you're getting 10-1 on the Rams, 6-1 on the Lions.
Oh my God, Mark.
Well, I can't put New England there because they're just a new kid on the block, and I think that eventually the older New England's going to eventually show up. You got to throw anybody out of the AFC North. I don't think anybody that comes out of there will be real. It doesn't leave much in the AFC South. I know you guys are running with the Colts, but I have my reasons not to. So that leaves it to the AFC West. And like Jim says, it's difficult to step in front of Kansas City right now. But if I do, I'm going to do it with the Chargers.
Oh, 22-1 on the Chargers. And NFC?
Well, I can't even think about Philadelphia right now because of the condition they're in. You know, they're right now. If they were in the hospital, they'd be in a ward where no one would be allowed to visit them. Okay. So I can't consider them or anybody inside that division there. I would think for me, it would either be Detroit or the Rams. Which is the two better odds there, Greg?
Rams 10-1.
And what's Detroit?
6-1.
Well, give me Detroit.
Okay. My preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl. And you, Jim?
Oh, I thought I just told you.
Oh, did you?
Kansas City against Detroit.
Okay, so you've settled on Detroit too. Okay.
Well, yeah. Well, that's right. I was waffling. I'm sorry. It's really hard because I do like the coach for the Rams better.
Yep.
But I'll stick with Detroit.
Okay. And by the way, since you didn't take a team 20-1 or over, I'm assuming that, and since Mark took the Chargers at 22-1, what would be your pick? Would you stick with the Bucs at 22-1 if you had to take a team of the 20s?
I mean, they can't play a game healthy. I can't.
Well, keep in mind that they are supposed to get, some of their players back.
They did lose Evans for the whole season. Their offensive line's a mess.
Well, their offensive line is one player down, and he's coming back.
Okay. How about Godwin?
He's coming back. Matter of fact, I would expect both the offensive lineman Ed Godwin to be back after the bye.
So what are you asking me about Tampa Bay?
Would you stick with them as if you had to pick a team at 20-1 or over? Or
I'll stick with them. Yeah.
Okay. Because the other teams would be like, New England, Seattle, the Chargers, the Ravens.
Well, you're talking NFC.
I'm talking just
any 20-1 to make.
Yeah, any 20-1.
Without monumental injuries, Kansas City's going to make the Super Bowl.
Yes, it does look like that. Yes. But Tampa Bay.
I like Mark's pick on the Chargers. I worry about that offensive line and the fact that Herbert keeps getting hit so much.
Yeah, that's another team that needs to make a trade at the deadline.
I get every time he gets hit, I get nervous because I really like him, but he just gets destroyed.
Problem is it's very rare that you see trades made at the deadline for offensive linemen. It just doesn't happen, because teams don't give up offensive linemen worth anything very easily because they're so rare.
Unless it's a bottom team giving away a good offensive lineman.
That's not under contract next year, correct?
Right. And
they're usually older players, but hey, Chargers only need someone for a year.
The Chargers they have a great coach. They have a great coach. And I like Herbert a lot more than I like Bo Nix. If they could just get healthy, it's all about health. I mean, the same thing with Tampa. It's all about health.
Yep. Injuries. Well, we'll cut it off at that note. Jim, we look forward to talking to you again next week when we hit week 9 in the NFL. And before I let you go, do you have a free pick for us?
Oh, for this week. Oh, okay.
How about in any of the games that I had circled for this week? Giants, Philly, Buffalo, Carolina, Tampa, New Orleans. Do you like anything there?
Well, that's Philly. I can't do that.
Let's admit it, Jim. This is a horrible pro football card. There's no intrigue at all to it because there's no good teams playing, and 6 teams are on bye. So
the selections are really
limited.
Right.
He can,
I'm going to give you the Bengals.
go. You can't find the good teams. Go against the bad teams. That's the way to do it.
Well, that. I mean, Andy always said that in the contest. You can't bet on you can always bet against the bad teams, and the Jets are about as bad. And we don't know even Tyrod Taylor, which is an upgrade over Fields. We don't even know he's healthy enough to go.
Yeah, well, we know Garrett Wilson ain't going.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think Flacco will just have a heyday with Higgins and Chase this week again.
All right, Jim. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Hey, nothing but the best this weekend, Jim. Be well, okay?
Thanks, guys. Both of you. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Now, college football. Let's see what we can do here. Let's wrap in the college football stuff.
See if we can put a little our pedal to the metal here.
Speed process, yes.
I really got to kind of move on real quick here. So let's hit what we need to hit, okay?
ACC. Who do you like in here, Mark?
In the ACC?
Yes. You think Virginia has a chance? Louisville, there's the odds there.
I like Louisville. This is a football team that's really, really talented. They showed that against Miami. I think Miami can be exposed. Carson Beck is not what he was all built up to be. Louisville proved that when they went on to him head-to-head, and there's a lot of physical players in that Louisville football team. I think they're the sleeper team.
Okay. Let's see. Who do you like in the American? You've got South Florida, Tulane, North Texas, Navy, Memphis. Those are the top teams. You think South Florida pulls it out?
Well, I like this team. I like their head coach real well. I think Navy is going to be exposed here sooner than later. But what South Florida brings is a real good offense and a real good defense here. My biggest concern would be North Texas, but I would say South Florida.
Yeah, South Florida just annihilated them. So I think the Memphis game is going to really be huge. Yeah, because they don't play Tulane. So if they can handle Memphis this week, and it looks like Memphis will be playing their true freshman quarterback this week with their starter banged up. So keep an eye on that. Let's see, the Big 12, Texas Tech, Arizona State, BYU. My sleeper this season, Cincinnati's with Scott Satterfield. He's actually got the Bearcats in position. Do you think it's going to be one of these two of these four teams?
I think it's going to be Texas Tech in the end. I know they took an ugly loss last week, but much the best offense and surprisingly the best defense in the conference.
What about the fact that they're minus 110 to win it right now? Do you think that's you like them that much?
Well, what were they before last week when they dumped? They were probably like minus 140, I would think, or 50.
Yeah. Arizona State's 4-1, BYU 6-1. And Cincinnati 7-1, but you just say, hey, even though it's minus 110, you're that confident it's going to be Texas Tech.
I was really confident with them to begin the football season here.
Yep.
They met all those expectations and really far surpassed them, if you will, per se. They laid that egg last week, but I think they have the ability to win out. I know it's minus 10 pick them per se, but I'm going to pick Texas Tech.
Big 10, Ohio State's at minus 150, Indiana at 2-1, but Indiana's schedule is extremely easy. They're going to be favored by over 20 points in every game, except the Penn State game. And then you've got Oregon at 8-1, and it looks like Michigan's the only team with a chance because they play Ohio State once again, as usual, at the end of the season. But right now, Indiana's looking awfully strong, especially with that schedule.
Well, it's tough to run in front of Ohio State. They're playing like an NFL football team right now. Defensively, they're just the best team in the country. It's going to be real difficult to derail them. But I really, really like this Indiana football team. They do so many things well. Every opponent has scored a season-low points against Indiana except one. And that was, I think it was, who was it, Utah maybe? Or they allowed UCLA. They allowed 15 points in a game, and that ended up being the season low, and it was 13. So every team they've held to season low points, Indiana has. That's pretty strong. But I can't step in front of Ohio State. But if I were to, it would be with Indiana. And I love the quotes Kirk Signetti made. I don't know if you read that or not, when they're asking about him and where he came from and all that. And he says, just Google me. I win.
SEC championship, and this is still wide open, even though Alabama and Texas A&M seem to be playing the best football. Still don't know if Georgia's got the defense. Texas is a fraud at this point. Oklahoma, Ole Miss, that's going to be a whoever wins is still in it. Whoever loses is out. Just like Vanderbilt and Missouri, whoever wins it is still in it. Whoever loses it is out. So what do you think about the SEC? Alabama, Texas A&M, do you think that's the matchup?
I think Texas A&M goes down this week, okay?
Okay.
And if they do, that gives the hammer to Alabama, for the time being, for the moment here. And you can never, ever discount Georgia.
No.
Even when, they appear to not even be playing well, they end up playing in the championship game. So who's favored here? I don't think there's anybody that's really a convincing favorite, is there?
Alabama.
Really?
They're about even money.
Really?
Texas A&M is the second choice at 4-1.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what is Oklahoma?
Oh, they're pretty 18-1.
Give me 18-1 Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah, if they can get Mateer healthy with that defense, the problem is they have a murderous schedule. That's the problem. They're going to be playing a very tough team every single week.
Yeah, they'll prove their worth if they can do just that. But
yeah, if they could lose one game and not get to the championship, they could still be a playoff team.
But when you hold every opponent to a season low yardage mark, 7 for 7, there's nobody even close to that in college football. And if they continue to play this brand of defense and Mateer gets healthy and they say he's back to health again, they could be sneaky good, and I could see them playing in the Big 12 championship game.
Okay. Before I let you go, let's go over the upsets this week, because we had a lot of success last week, especially on the double digits with Stanford. We both liked Louisville last week in their upset of Miami. So my double digit upsets this week, and I don't have I don't have any. I do have one Power 4 team. So out of the three, which one do you like the most? I've got North Carolina, Rice, and Florida Atlantic. It's Rice over UConn, Florida Atlantic over Navy, or North Carolina to upset Virginia.
I like Florida Atlantic in that group there. I don't want to touch North Carolina with a 10-foot pole. And Rice, I don't think is nice. But I think Navy's going to end up probably splitting out moving forward here, losing as many games as they win. And if it happens, I think it could happen. Starts here. Give me Florida Atlantic.
Okay, they're plus 425 on the money line. And on the single-digit upsets, I've got Ball State, Kent State, Kentucky, Mississippi State, North Carolina State, and Northwestern. Which one of those do you like the most?
Give me Northwestern. It's a football team right now. Look at the standings, Greg. They could very well be in the Big Ten championship game.
That would be scary, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, look at they're only a game out of the lead, and playing some really, really good football right now. It all started when they pulled the rug out on Penn State, and they haven't taken a step backwards here. I think Nebraska could end up being exposed in this football game. Give me Northwestern.
And do you have a favorite upset this week?
A personal favorite upset. Let me, without going too deep into the card, I would have given you Iowa State, but they're the favorite, and nobody can understand why they're the favorite. But I understand why they are the favorites, but I can't count them as a personal upset, despite the fact that BYU's ranked and they're not. If we're talking from a ranking standpoint, that would be the game. But we're talking point spread here, so that wouldn't be fair to say that. I would say from an upset standpoint, I think LSU takes A&M down this week after that tough loss to Vanderbilt last week. A&M undefeated, and when undefeated teams end up Losing for the first time, it's almost always at a tough site against a winning team who comes off a loss. And that's exactly the scenario here. Check, check, check the boxes, the boxes, the boxes. I like LSU in the upset.
Yeah, Brian Kelly is 15-1 straight up in night games at Baton Rouge.
How about that? That's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like this might be the week that Texas A&M loses. Doesn't mean they're out of it. Just means that every SEC team is pretty much going to have to lose at some point because of the schedule. But I know you had asked us, you were going to ask us that question yesterday. We just couldn't get to it. Which undefeated team, and Alabama's already lost.
Right.
And again, I think it's an easy answer. Actually, it's Indiana, because their schedule is just, again, Penn State's the toughest team they're playing. I mean, they're not playing anybody.
And and until the Franklin, sorry about that, the fiasco with Penn State, when Franklin was fired, they would have been right in the mix with another tough team that they're playing.
Yes.
Christ, they were top 10 team all season long until they had that rug pulled out,
Yep.
Right.
Unfortunately now, we're all going to wait and see who's the next head coach at Penn State. That's going to be some nice drama.
Right.
All right, Mark. By the way, if anybody has any questions regarding games we didn't have time to go over today, just leave a question in the comment section and we'll let you know. I'll pass it along to Jim and Mark. And just because it's not live, it doesn't mean we can't answer it and get back to you. So go ahead and do that. Feel free, both college or pro. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Also, the show's over now, but keep in mind, whenever we do these live shows, you see that $ icon on the bottom of the message board. Well, if you click that, then that means you can actually ask a question, a comment, and also donate to the show. Anything you like, $1, $5, $10, and that money would go towards us because we're using that money, and any money that we use, of course, out of our own pockets, expense-wise, to continue to build a really big-time professional channel here at ProLine TV to give you the best in education and entertainment. So, Mark, have a great weekend. I look forward to doing this all over again next week.
I will too, Greg. Sort of like Wikipedia. Make that donation. Okay.
Yeah, right. I wish we could get their donations, but yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
I'd be well. Thank you.